Hello and welcome to the Washed DraftKings Fanduel season-long fantasy picks powered by ChatGPT. I am joined with my co-host, Leonte Carew, Rutgers GOAT, former Miami Dolphins wide receiver, known to take the top off of Mount Everest. Leonte, how are you?
We back. We got football, baby.
We're back, and we're going to jump right into it today. We got a pretty basic show for you. We're going to do our Thursday night. Today is September 4th. The Philadelphia Eagles will play the Dallas Cowboys tonight. We will do one lineup each for tonight's game. We will then, if you want to skip past this, the Thursday night game, we will show you how to use ChatGPT to optimize your lineups from everything from 250 lineups, looking at lineup optimizers, looking at season-long injury reports, looking at game totals, all that good stuff. We'll show you how to do it step by step. I'm going to do it with the screen capture, but we're going to jump right in to the Thursday night game. And DraftKings has a $2.5 million Thursday kickoff millionaire maker tonight. The game is $15. I will probably do one lineup. I think Leonte is going to do one lineup. So let's jump right in. So for our first pick, you have to select a captain of your team. This is an all-flex team because there's only one game on tonight. And he's going to score 1.5 times the fantasy points. Now, this is always a tricky one. And my heart of hearts tells me to pick CeeDee Lamb. Actually, I'm an Eagles fan, so my heart always tells me to pick the Eagles. But if you bet with your heart, you are going to lose. Always bet with your brain. I think for this position, now there's a lot of studs on both of these teams. So I think for my first position, I'm going to try to blow it on that times two, got that 1.5 times, or on someone who, because to even get into the top 10 of this, you really have to pick somebody that nobody picks. I'm going to pick blue as my times twoer. You might think I'm crazy, but that's what I'm doing. For my next flex, I always pick the quarterback for both teams, so I'm going to pick Dak and Jalen Hurts. And you see, respectively, they are $11,000 and $9,000. So you really don't have so for my third flex, I don't have a lot to work with, but I do want to stack somebody. So I'm going to put Devontae Smith in to stack with Hurts, and I want to stack somebody with Prescott. So I'm going to put George Pickens in, and that's going to leave me with about $6,000. So I can pick any of these guys down here, and I'm going to pick the Eagles defense. Now, it might be counterintuitive because I have so many Cowboys, but you don't have a lot of choices. And when it comes down to what I think, the 6,000 range, who's going to score the most points out of these guys? Williams, Ferguson, Aubrey. That's the kicker. I could go either way. I could go with the Dallas kicker, too. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put the Dallas kicker in there, leaving about $1,500 on the table. Let me go re-examine my 1.5er. And I will switch to Williams. So here we go. I got a nice little team here. I'm going to clear this out for Leonte, and he's going to talk you through his picks and why he's doing it. Go ahead, Leonte.
All right, so I just did a lineup on my phone myself just to play around with it. And for my captain's pick, I'm going to do something very crazy and insane. Coming off that Super Bowl performance and the way they played, I am going to go with my defense, the Eagles' defense, as the captain's pick.
Nice. I like it.
And then, like Mike said, to follow up, pick a quarterback. I'm actually going to go with Dak on this one. It's his first game back in a year. Coming off his injury, I feel like he's going to be out there. He's going to be fresh. He's going to want to throw the ball. And I'm going to go with Dak Prescott with this next pick. And then after that, I have Ferguson. I feel like Ferguson is a high red zone target guy. I feel like they're going to obviously be shelling CeeDee Lamb a lot. So I just feel like Ferguson is going to be more open in the red zone and get a ton of targets. And then after this, I am going to go with A.J. Brown. And then I have about 19,000 remaining. So I could go high right here. And I'm going to go with Saquon. And then I have about $8,300 left. And I'm going to go with George Pickens, the new guy coming off the Steelers, shows promise that he's a good receiver. Now he's matched up with a great quarterback, and I like this pick a lot.
Yeah, and these Thursday night games can be really crazy. So you can go back. I mean, depending on how much you want to spend, 15's a little pricey for me. I mean, we're cheapskates here. 15's a little pricey for me for a game. I try to stick to the $5 milli maker, but each to his own. If you got money to splurge, I would just make 5 lineups like that going in. I think we just kind of really quickly went through this. So now we're going to go into ChatGPT, and then after this segment, Leonte is going to catch us up on the week's news, and we'll go into our main slate picks, DraftKings and FanDuel. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go on to DraftKings.com. You want to find the game you want to play. In this case, it's the Millie Maker game. You want to go in and press draft now. And after you do that, you'll want to scroll down to the bottom and you'll see export to CSV, which means, well, first you want to let them know you're in the proper location. Then you want to export to CSV, which will give you a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and you can open it in Excel. I use Google Sheets because it's free. Then what you want to do is open it up, and you want to straighten all these columns out. It comes a little bunched up, but you want to be able to see everything. And then once you straighten all the columns out, like I'm doing here, you press Control-All or Command-All on a Mac and copy them all. And then what you want to do is going to go to chatgtp.com. It's really cheap. We are not sponsored by them, but hopefully we will be soon. And you can copy and paste the thing and let them know these are the draft numbers for DraftKings. This way it knows who the active rosters are. ChatGPT is AI, but it doesn't know everything. Sometimes you got to teach it some things, or you could just upload the CSV file straight into the ChatGPT. And then depending on what you want to do, I want to build my lineup around 3 players. So I'm going to tell it, keeping Nico Collins, Bijan Robinson, and Mbuka, build me 10 optimal lineups based on the data that I gave you. And then it will start to do that. And then it will spit out some lineups for you. You can also tell them to spit it out as an XLS, a spreadsheet file, which I did here. Like if you're going to do 250 lineups, then you can just upload that back into DraftKings. I can show you how to do that in another episode, but it's pretty much the reverse of what we just did. It's pretty self-explanatory, but that's basically how you do it. If you're going to do 250 lineups, I'm only doing 10, so I could just get them to spit this out in text. And what I would do is go through all these lineups, make sure you like them, because from what I've learned, AI plus the human brain is the real best way to go about this. So we're going to get on to the next part of the show and go over our picks for week 1 with all the trades and everything else that's been done. Okay, so we're back, and Leonte is going to catch us up on the news. There's been a lot of changes since we did our contrarian picks, and we appreciate you guys' support. That show really shot up to 600 views quick, and for our first couple episodes doing that, we're really growing very rapidly, and that's because you guys, our followers and our fans. So big shout out to you guys. Obviously, leave a comment if you want any further commentary on our picks. We interact in the comments all the time if you have any questions or follow-ups. But Leonte, why don't you catch us up on all the news in the NFL and stuff maybe you've been hearing from some of your former NFL friends?
Yeah, so the thing about this show, guys, is everything is going to fluctuate per week. I know a couple weeks ago, me and Mike were heavy on not taking Genty, but there's a crap ton of news coming out of Oakland right now. If I'm you guys, I am slamming Genty, and I am slamming Brock Bowers week 1, and here's the reason why. Amari Cooper just retired, and Jacoby Myers, who's arguably been their best receiver the last 2 years, has requested a trade. So that goes to show me that those receivers are not getting the ball, they're not getting targets, and the offense is only going through Genty and Brock Bowers, and I think they're going to get a ton of fantasy points week 1. So just be on the lookout if you guys are able to get those guys. Cash in on them, go get them. Whether it's daily fantasy, yearly fantasy, go get those guys because the offense in Oakland is going to flow through those guys. Other news is I will stay away from Tyreek Hill if I was you guys. There was an interview that came out. Him and Tua are kind of like beefing. Tyreek Hill said, we're brothers, we're family. It's always going to be this. It's always going to be that. I wouldn't trust it. It seems like there's a lot of drama going on in Miami right now. I am a Dolphins fan. I've spoke to people too, and they're not really on the same page. He seems to like Waddle more. So if you could get Waddle for cheap, I would take Waddle because it seems like Tua and Waddle or have that connection. And when you're friends and you're best friends with a guy off the field, it shows up on the field. So him and Tariq have a little beef. I would stay away from Tariq Hill. That's pretty much all the news I got for you.
Okay, so something we didn't talk about last segment was the Cowboys' defense. Obviously there's going to be a big hole there with Micah Parsons gone. So does that change anything for you with the Green Bay Packers defense?
Yes, and they're very cheap. I've actually went through this a couple times last week, and I was able to get the Green Bay Packers, I think, at $2,900. I would slam the Green Bay Packers defense on every single fantasy. I mean, adding Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary to that team is just, I don't know how teams are going to be able to throw the ball. You see what D-lines do in this league, right? If a D-line is able to disrupt the whole game, it changes the game. Look what the Eagles did with Pat Mahomes last year. And I think adding Parsons and Rashawn Gary to that D-line, it's just going to be a phenomenal defense for them. So I would definitely take the Green Bay Packers. I would go all in on that.
And I don't want to spend too much time on that, but we know how much of a difference that makes when a guy is more than just a teammate on defense. He's a presence. My defensive end in high school, a kid named Kurt Bullwith, man named Kurt Bullwith, now he played for the University of Maine, was that guy. I was very lucky as the 5'5", 150-pound cornerback that nobody ran to my side because he was a presence. I'm sure Jabril Peppers was that guy for you.
Yep, absolutely.
So moving right along. So we're gonna pull up our optimal lineup now. I don't think a lot changes on this because of as for what Leonte just said about we didn't really have anybody from the Raiders. I think we were going to kind of slow roll Genti, although watching him in the preseason, I think we've kind of changed our opinion on that. I guess one thing we didn't talk about was Egbuka. Godwin was out, and I think Godwin's questionable, and it's looking like he may play. So are you kind of off of Egbuka, or are you going to still start him on week one?
No, I'm definitely starting him on week one. Abuka's on a lot of my, if Abuka screws up in this game, I'm screwed. He's on a lot of my fantasy picks. He's on a lot of my parlays. So I like Abuka a lot. There was a team, actually, the Chicago Bears. If I were you guys, I would take Swift for a lot of fantasy points as well, because right now, the Bears don't have a backup running back. Every running back is hurt, so he's going to get a lot of carries in the game. He's going to get a lot of touches. So just be alert for that as well.
All right, so let's remake our optimal lineup. So I think what the ChatGPT stuff, it's only constricted by your imagination. So go in there and put game history in there. Put guys' injury history in there. Put in the weekly game totals in there. Put how guys play in Green Bay. It's only restricted by what your imagination is.
Yep.
Like if you go ask ChatGPT, hey, what's Bijan Robinson's average of total yards when he goes when he's playing at home indoors in Atlanta? And it's going to come up with some pretty impressive numbers, I would guess, by even looking at it, and that's why we have Bijan. What's Nico Collins' career been? And it's gonna every game he gets better and better, and that's why. And he looked great in the preseason. That's why we're using him. Egbuka, there's a little less history to go with, but I think the eye test, which is why you always got to pair the AI with a football brain. The eye test for Egbuka for both Leonte and Leonte played in this league, so we're not just talking out of school here. We think this kid's going to be great. So are we sticking with Russell Wilson as our quarterback? And I know you've been hot on taking someone a little lower down the line, which changes our lineup quite a bit. Why don't you talk us through that? Yeah,
I've been taking Cam Ward on a lot of my fantasies. These rookie quarterbacks coming in, you look at what C.J. Stroud did when he was a rookie. You look at what a couple of these other guys. Like when rookies come in, sometimes they come in hot. He's the number one overall pick. I could see him. He has a lot of confidence. I could see him spreading the ball around. He has a pretty veteran receiver core. He got Calvin Ridley, so he has Tony Pollard as his backup. They seem to really like him in training camp. He's been starting fights with the best defensive player. I kind of like his swagger right now, so I've been very high on Cam Ward.
All right, and we're keeping Bijan, so we'll skip to our second running back and this is our optimal lineup. Last week we did our contrarian, and I know I saw some commenters there saying, "Oh man, you picked this guy, that was trash." But we did 7 or 8 disclaimers that this is our contrarian. Like this is the very off chance that one of these guys goes off, because that's what you got to do to win the million. Unfortunately, you got to pick the guy nobody picks who's going to go off. And in week one, you want somebody. If it's somebody old, they probably should be fresh. All right, so. Now we actually have a lot more money to spend because Cam Ward's a lot cheaper than Russell Wilson is. And as we said, this is going to be a week to pay up for running backs. So do we want to go up and get Jahmyr Gibbs now? Because I think before, or do you want to stick with Genty? Or do you want to try to squeeze Genty into our flex?
I would probably try to kind of like what you have on there right now. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so you want to just keep, I think we had Kyron Williams.
No. Actually, I would try to get Genty. I would try to get Genty or see if you can get Gibbs if it's a little bit cheaper.
So let's try Gibbs and we'll
Okay.
see how this. But we're really going to have to cheap out on our wide receivers now.
No, well, I mean, on mine, you really have to cheap out on your tight end.
Okay.
So in my opinion with this, guys, is like on one of mine, right? I have Parkinson from the Rams, right? If they get on the goal line and they run a play action and he catches two of these things,
Yeah.
like I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I would go really cheap as for a tight end.
Okay. And we just saw the injury report actually just came out, and now Godwin's doubtful. So sticking with Mbuka was the right choice.
Yes.
So everybody stick with Mbuka. So how low are you willing to go for tight end? Who'd you say? Okay, Parkinson. All right. So if he gets you a 0, you're screwed.
Yeah.
This is Leonte's pick. So
Trust me.
So I mean, that actually could work. So let's say Cam Ward, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, Nico Collins, and Ibuka all go off. Then you don't really need a tight end, to tell you the truth.
And that's what I'm thinking.
And sometimes people double tight. But so now at wide receiver, we're going to need somebody down in this 5,100, 52. We already talked about Jacoby Myers wanting to trade, so he's a no-go. Who do you got here in this group of people around Jacoby Myers? You got Olave, you got Calvin Ridley.
So
Travis Hunter, if you want to go there.
Olave's fresh, right? He's coming back. He was out basically the whole season last year due to concussion. He's fresh. I think he's going to be doing a great job protecting himself so he doesn't get hit in the head. I like Olave a lot, actually.
Okay. So we'll throw Olave in there. And then we'll go right to our defense. And I think we're really hot on the Packers defense now. I mean, although I really do like the Steelers defense still, but they're a bit more pricey.
Yep. I went down to 2,500 on this, and I took the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I think this would be a bad week to pick the Packers anyway. We'll pick them against somebody sucky, not against Detroit.
Yeah.
So where'd you go?
I went Houston. You know why? Just in case if Matt Stafford doesn't play.
Which it doesn't look like he will. Apparently but I mean, we're kind of screwing ourselves with our tight end, but we might be able to fix that. In a second here, looking at our flex. So let's go a little cheaper on flex.
Well, that's our last pick, right?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But what I want to do is get a better tight end. So I'm going to go with the high game. Who would you like between Mike Evans and Kyron Williams? If Stafford doesn't play, I would imagine they're just going to run the ball, but who knows? Kyron might not be on the field a lot. I'm actually going to go with Evans on this one.
Yep.
And then now we can get a better tight end. Out of these guys, is this the Jets starting tight end at 3,100? M. Taylor. Let's see. Let's go
3,100.
Right to the Jets game and see what we got. Pittsburgh, New York Jets. It is. So you could get the Jets starting tight end. So I really like this lineup.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save this one. This is actually going to be one of my actual lineups.
Yep.
And we'll put that one in the bank. And now Leonte will talk to you about restructuring his optimal lineup and show us what you did and tell us why, Leonte.
All right, so I was just talking to you guys before. Like I said before, I'm really high on Cam Ward. He's a rookie. I think he's going to go out there and ball out week one. I mean, he has to prove himself week one, right? That's how you make a name for yourself. That's how you put yourself on the map, is if you go out and you go against the best defense in the league and you put up some type of points. I mean, if he throws 2 touchdown passes, that's great against the Denver Broncos, right? So I'm going to go there. And this is a lineup that I was able to create myself. And this is just me just saying, F it, balls to the wall. And I don't know how I got this lineup, but I really like it. My next pick was Gibbs. Then I went Bijan.
Nice.
Then I went Jamar Chase. Then I went Slayton, right? I bought down a little bit, but Slayton is honestly the Giants' number 2. He's their number 2. So I've trained with this guy before. We trained with the same wide receiver coach. So I could see him having a really, really good game. He's at 4,000. Then I was able to go St. Brown. I don't know how I pulled this off, guys, but I was able to do it. And then I bought very low for my tight end, right? I went very low for my tight end. I went Parkinson because, like I said, he's in a lot of goal line packages. I could see him literally getting on the field and catching 2 goal line touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, I think all you'd need is one if everybody else on that lineup went off, right?
This is the vision that I see. Then for my flex, I know that we just talked about Jacoby Myers requesting a trade, but he's still going to be out there Sunday, and he's still going to be playing. And if he catches a couple touchdowns, then who cares about that trade, right? So I went Jacoby Myers.
Maybe he will catch a couple, so a good team picks him up.
Yep, I went Jacoby Myers at 51. And then that allowed me to have, I have options here, right? At $2,500, I could pick the Seahawks defense. I went Houston, but guys, you guys could pick any of these defense that you see right here. I mean, you have the Seahawks, you have Houston, you have the Saints, you have the Panthers, you have the Browns, you have the Giants, you have the Titans. So it's whoever you want to decide. If you went, let's say you went Giants defense, then maybe you could buy up a little bit more on a better tight end. So let's do that here. Let's go Giants defense. They're playing against Washington, but everyone's been talking about this Giants D-line. So let's go Giants defense, and then let's take him away, and let's see what tight ends we have available. I mean, we could go Pat Durham for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We could go Stover for Houston. He shows a lot of promise. I'm not really sure who Jay Hill is for Miami. Actually, I kind of like this tight end. I think he went to Miami, the one who for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Arroyo.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
I like him a lot.
He was a high pick, I think.
Yeah,
too.
so let's go with that. Let's take that. I might even switch that on mine. Let's take that there, and come on, guys, look at this lineup here.
If they're fighting with Tyreek Hill, it's probably because they added some more tight end packages in there to slow the game down. Because I think if we remember the Dolphins from last year, it was feast or famine. It kind of played like the Yankees, right? Like it's either a home run or nothing. So I really like this lineup. So I'm going to save that. Maybe we'll both win. We'll split the million, and you won't see us next week, folks. We'll be in Cabo. So this lineup, I'm going to call my smart guy. I'm going to put on my fake glasses right now, and this is me really thinking about a lineup that's going to score high. And if you get really see, the thing about winning the million is like, yeah, it's great, but it's kind of like picking the lottery numbers. FYI, we're not sponsored by the New Jersey Lottery, but or any of the states that participate, but. The Powerball is going to be like 1.7 billion on Saturday. So you'll be watching this tonight on Thursday. So look out for that too. But I'll probably be taking some of the money I was going to spend on FanDuel and buy some lottery tickets, to tell you the truth, which I never do. Because I only need a little bit of that money. I don't need the whole 1.7 billion. I just need 10 million. I think that's good for me. I'm not greedy.
That's perfectly fine.
So I'm going to do my smart guy lineup. This actually might be a good lineup for cash games, but I think I'm going to try it in the tournament game. For those of you beginners who don't know, cash games are kind of like low ceiling, a player's low ceiling. Tournament games are going to be a player's high ceiling. To win the million, you really got to get every player's high ceiling. And obviously picking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys to do that in the defense is kind of hard, but. Here we go. So I'm gonna start with Goff, and I'm gonna stack him with Laporta for my running backs. I said it's a pay up week, but I don't have a lot of money to splurge since I'm evening everything out. I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs and Ashton Genty because these guys are gonna get a lot of work. And this Green Bay-Detroit game is going to be one of the higher game totals of the week. And so is the Tampa Bay Atlanta game. So going right to that, I'm going to go with London. I'm going to move down a little bit and go with someone that we've been talking about here a lot. But he's actually, we haven't been talking about a lot, but a guy who gets a ton of targets, who actually finished the season pretty hot, and who everybody forgot about, and it's Jerry Jeudy. And he might be that guy that gets you like that 2% ownership that like actually gets in the end zone 2 times, right? They're playing Cincinnati, but the Cincinnati defense is terrible. Like they haven't.
Yeah, they're awful.
They've done nothing to really upgrade that defense. So I like Jerry Jeudy there. Now I got a little bit of money to play with on each of my other picks. So I'm going to go down here and got to get low. I don't want to get too low on this, but I'm going to ask Leonte's opinion because he's the wide receiver whisperer. He's the guy that knows everything. Amari Cooper, we said he's not playing, right?
Yep, he's out.
Okay, but he's still showing on DraftKings, so you guys make sure you take a note of that.
Yep.
Gonna stick with my man Ekbuka. I think he's gonna get some targets. Let's go to a defense here. I mean, the defense is like there's not a lot unless you just want to pick the cheapest defense and hope for the best, like the Tennessee Titans. If you don't have Cam Wood as your quarterback, obviously don't pick the defense that you have your quarterback with. Generally, what you want to do is stack your running back with your defense because if the defense is doing real well, the running back's going to be getting most of the carries because the team's trying to slow down the game in most instances anyway. So I think I'm going to stick with the Steelers. I really think the Jets are just going to get destroyed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everything Leonte was talking about from Madden to just watching preseason. We watched the Jets preseason game together here in the bar. We were not crazy about that.
Nope.
That RPO offense. It doesn't look like they're running it anywhere close to what it should be run like the Philadelphia Eagles or whoever you want to compare that to. And then we got $5,000. And this is interesting, right? So we have a couple guys here, and I'm interested in all of them, really. So we got Dwaddle, Mozart, Alger, and Ridley. So which one of these guys would you pick and why, Leonte?
I would go with Ridley. I would go with Ridley. You know why? He's Tennessee's number one target. So
there you go.
He's got to get his touches, right?
So this is my smart guy lineup. I have no money left, but everybody on this team eats MCs. They really do. We don't obviously Ekbuka and Genti. We don't have a lot of data on them because they've never played in the NFL. But I think everything we've seen in preseason and I'll eat my words if we're playing Monday morning quarterback here and they both end up with 5 or 6 points and even nothing. But I think this is a really safe lineup. And obviously what you can do is just copy all these guys, put them into ChatGPT and say mix and match, throw some of these players out. Generally what I'll do is, and we just went through this, so I don't want to go through it again, is I want to keep Genti, I want to keep Ekbuka, I want to keep Calvin Ridley and Jared Goff and Laporta, whatever. But I'm gonna pass the sticks to Leonte. He's going to pick his smart guy lineup and tell you why he's doing it. He's going to talk you through it. Ahead,
yep, this is my smart guy lineup. I'm going with the savvy vet. He's playing against his old team. I think that he's going to tear them up because of the way things went when they let him go. And also, guys, when you're doing this, don't put personal feelings into it. But when you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers who got disrespected by the Jets and they just let him go, I know he's coming back to MetLife to do some things. So I like Aaron Rodgers.
He may not be vaccinated or sane, but he can still play football.
Absolutely. For my running back, I'm going Bucky Irvin. And this is a lineup, guys, that I just played around with that I love. I just been looking through my lineups lately, and I'm like, wow, I really cooked on some of these, coach. So my next running back, I went Christian McCaffrey. Then I was able to get Nico Collins. Then I was able to get Drake London, guys. Drake London. Then I went St. Brown. I was absolutely cooking.
Yeah, I like London too. I mean, I definitely will have him a lot in my lineups.
He's the Falcons' number one.
And that's going to be a high-scoring
target.
game. So
for tight end, like I don't know how Mike feels about this, but I've been really low on tight ends, buying down on tight ends because I just feel like if you get one of them, if you go low and you get one of them to catch one touchdown, then the rest of these guys, and if they eat for you, you're lit.
I'm just historically bad at picking tight ends, so I'm it's a nightmare scenario for me that I'm watching the 4:00 game relying on my tight end. I just shut the phone off at that point.
So for this one, I went Tyler Higbee. He's a vet. He's been proven. He's caught touchdown passes. I like Higbee a lot with this pick. Then for my flex, all right, guys, this is the key right here. Because I don't want you to get overlooked. I don't want you to think just because they have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that this guy, go check the stats. This guy scored 6 touchdowns last year. Yeah. He had almost 800 yards. I know his trainer. He played football at Princeton. He's a smart receiver, and he plays really well. So at my flex, I went, sorry if I mispronounce his last name, He's the Bengals number 3. There he is, 3,700. And then for defense, I went Giants. I mean, I have money to spend though. I could go Browns, Giants, or Titans. What do you think about that, Mike? Who would you pick?
I don't know. I think you can probably it's a toss up between those three. Make sure it's not conflicting with your lineup.
Yeah, so on mine, guys, I did the Giants, but on this, I'm going to go. Actually, no, I'm going to stick with the Giants because I have Andre as my flex, and if I pick the Cleveland defense, I don't need them strapping him. So I'm going to go Giants defense on this.
All right, awesome.
And that's my lineup.
So I think we're pretty much done here. Leonte, any commentary on the Rutgers game? That's your alma mater, or both our alma maters, but
yeah, they're playing Miami, Ohio this week. I think the spread's about 14.5. I would take the spread on my Rutgers. I think one thing I know about Rutgers is they learn from their mistakes. They're coachable, so they're going to have. I know it was a nail biter last week, but that was a good Ohio team that they played. This game they should cover the spread on this one. So I like Miami. I'm also going to the Jets-Steelers game this weekend to watch Aaron Rodgers light MetLife up, just like I used to in high school.
All right. Well, good luck, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week. We'll be here probably Thursday or Friday again, breaking down our picks for week 2, and we're very excited about the football season. Any shout-outs before we go, Leonte?
Good luck to all you guys. If you guys win, remember us.
Yes, you can mail us money, but hopefully we win. Then you won't ever see us again. All right, bye.